Thank you for reminding me about the time. And we are recording. So I just want to give you a little bit of my background first. And then I'm going to let you all introduce yourselves a little bit more. I started out and I have taught, if you've looked at any of the information on the course shell, I taught third grade for a year, and I found that I like to play with little kids, but I don't like to teach. That's not my thing. I would end up being put in prison for flushing some kid down a toilet if I had to teach little kids all the time. They just drive me crazy as far as teaching. Now playing, that's different. But my clock's going to ding. Anyway, I really like working with secondary kids, and I taught special ed in a high school in Scott City, and I did juniors and seniors for 40 years. I've also done behavior management. I worked at the state home, and this is, I'm old, so this is way before it was politically correct terms. I taught at the state home for severely profoundly retarded in Nebraska. And before it was called the Topeka State Hospital, it was called the Topeka State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, and I taught there for a while. So I've been around a long time, and I have been around longer than the special ed laws have been around. So that tells you how long I've been around, a really long time. I have a lot of experience. I don't think anything anybody can say or do has any shock value with me. It's just because I'm old and I've seen a lot, not to say I've seen it all, and certainly not to say I know it all, because I continue to learn new things all the time. Every kiddo that comes through our doorways has unique qualities that we get to look at, and they get to teach us something new. And so as long as we're working with people and being around them, we get to continually learn. So I want you to tell me, and I know we did this a little bit before, but where you are, what grade levels you teach. And if you're teaching gifted, because some people how many courses you have taken online through Fort Hays? Okay, just so I know how much to go for the detail of going through the course shell. Okay, Taylor, you're in my top left-hand corner, so I'm going to start with you.
Okay, I am Taylor Walker, and I live in Atchison, Kansas, and I teach 5th grade special ed at Atchison Elementary School. This is my first year teaching, and this is my first online course through Fort Hays.
Okay, have you had any other online courses?
Yes, through Washburn.
Okay, so are you familiar with Blackboard?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so that gives me an idea. Okay, Tony, you're my next victim.
Well, this is my third year teaching. I taught 5th and 6th grade social studies and science at a parochial school in Great Bend. But this is my first year teaching special education. And I'm in the high school teaching. I'm actually almost primarily teaching class within a class with a general education teacher at this point. And the next part of the question was how many online courses I've taken. Yeah, this is this would be my third master's degree, and the first two were online through Fort Hays as well.
Okay. So you're familiar with Blackboard?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, Sydney?
I'm in Salina, Kansas. I teach kindergarten and 2nd grade special education at Schilling Elementary. And this is my first year teaching, and this is my second course through Fort Hays online.
So you know Blackboard a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Okay, is it Elena? I know I said it wrong earlier. You want to turn on? You have to, okay. Tell me
I live in Littleton, New Hampshire, and I work in Whitefield, New Hampshire. That is 12 miles away from my hometown where I live. And I teach special ed 3 to 5 grades. And this is my third year as a special ed teacher, although I've been teaching for longer than that outside of the United States. So this is my third year in the United States.
Where did you teach?
I taught in, what did I teach before?
Where?
I had 2 years here. I do special ed 3 to 5, grades 3 to 5. Third graders, 4th graders, and 5th graders.
Okay, when you taught outside the United States, where did you teach?
I lived 2 years in Colombia and Cartagena, and there I worked in an American school. And I was a grade 1 teacher, 1st grade teacher. all my students were Spanish speakers, but everything, all the classes were in English. And before that, I am from Paraguay in South America. So that's where I work most of my life. That's where I come from. And I was early education, and I was also school administrator. So I have many years.
You have some experience. Good.
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yeah, and I came here and they offered me the special ed position, so I needed to take classes. And this is my 10th course, so I just have 2 more before I finish the master's.
Oh, you're
So I'm
close.
very excited.
So 2 more, that's
Yes.
next May or next December?
Yeah, I hope to take this in the fall. So
Good. Kyle?
yeah.
Hi, I'm Kyle Cree. I work at a high school in Kingman, so I have 9th through 12th graders. Before this, I was actually a social studies teacher. This is my 6th year in education, and I've taken 24 hours through a different program at Hayes. So, but this is my first SPED class through Hayes.
So are you going to take the whole SPED sequence and get licensed?
That's the plan.
Okay. And master's in SPED?
Yep.
Good. Good. Christy?
Christy Slay.
You're going to have to speak up or turn up your volume, okay?
Can you hear me now?
Not very well. You may be covering up your microphone if you have.
Maybe I am. I don't know where the microphone is. How about now?
Not much better.
Okay, hold on. Let's see here.
On mine, if I push control and looking at the buttons, I just do it without looking.
Can you hear me now?
That's a little bit better, yeah.
Okay. I'm Christy Slay. I live in Tecumseh, Kansas, but I teach for Shawnee Heights. Anybody heard of Shawnee Heights? I teach at Barrington Elementary, 4th and 6th grade special education. It's my 12th year teaching, and this is my 4th class.
Okay, good. Hey, Jeannie?
I teach in Mound Ridge, Kansas. It's an itty bitty little town north of Wichita. And I teach, this is my 3rd year teaching K-3 special ed. And gosh, I don't know how many classes I've taken. I have this one and then one other one that I'm finishing up this semester, and I'm done with the endorsement part. So yeah.
Are you going to go on to the master's?
Well, I originally started out just doing the endorsement, so I didn't realize it was just one more class to do the master's, and so
It'd be silly to not, because you're paid.
Right.
On almost all districts' pay salary scales, you can't move past the master's column until you get that degree, and so you would be stopping your income forever.
Yeah.
So it'd be worth going on.
Yeah.
Okay, Reagan?
I'm from Salina, Kansas. This is my 3rd year teaching 3rd through 5th special ed, and this is my last semester to get my master's in special ed.
Okay, so are you going through comps this semester?
Am I what? Oh, doing the portfolio?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
All right, because I think those are due pretty quick, aren't they?
Yep. I think I have mine ready. There's a couple parts that are a little confusing I'm trying to figure out, but I think for the most part mine's ready.
If you need help, holler.
Okay, I might do that.
Not that I'm an expert by any means, but I did help score them last semester, and I'm scoring them again this semester too. So.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I'll email you a few questions I have then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Jessica, you're gonna have to turn on your microphone. You know how?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I forgot I muted it. So I'm Jessica Denayo. I teach in Phillipsburg, Kansas. I have 3rd and 4th grade special education kiddos, and I've taken, I don't even know how many online classes through since my associates, since high school, really. What am I missing?
No, I think that's it. I think that's good. So you're comfortable with Blackboard, no issues.
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
and then I'll be done in the summer. So I've only got this class and then the summer. So,
Wow.
but I'm not doing my portfolio till the fall.
Yeah, because I say we don't do portfolios in the summer.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to have those assignments because I'm actually taking 3 classes over the summer. So I wanted to be able to have all that coursework to put into my portfolio.
That's a lot for the summer, girl.
Yeah, I did it last summer too, and I actually got it all done in June. So I took 9 credits in the month of June. It was like 25 days, and it was a little crazy.
No kidding. I would say a lot crazy. And you were saying when you got done?
I took a really long vacation from any school. Like the entire month of July, I did not open my computer.
Okay, good. Okay, Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott Starr, and I teach at Hamilton in Hamilton, Kansas. This is my first year teaching.
Where is Hamilton?
It is a little bit further east of Eureka and then a little bit north. It's near Emporia.
Okay.
But it's the Emporia Co-op that employs me.
Okay.
So it's about 40 miles away from Emporia. So this is my first year teaching, and I teach K through 12 SPED. And I received my bachelor's degree from Fort Hayes, and this is my first class actually towards getting my master's.
Okay, good. Well, hopefully it'll at the beginning of a good experience.
Yeah.
Margo?
Hi, I teach in Protection, Kansas, which is in southwest Kansas. And this is my 8th year of teaching, but it is my first year in special education. And I teach for special education this year. I cover grades 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. As far as being familiar with Blackboard, I'm pretty familiar with Blackboard. I'm going to graduate in May with my master's in administration. So I'm finishing up my last 2 classes in administration right now. And I'm also starting the SPED program, so this is my first SPED class.
Goodness. So you're going to do 2 masters, one in administration and one in SPED?
It was not quite my intent. I wanted, obviously, I started in administration and I'll finish that. But my husband and I recently moved, and so to stay in this position, I have to obviously start towards my master's in special education. So it's been a little hectic this spring.
Yeah, I would bet. Well, good luck. Michelle, you want to turn on your mic and tell us about you? Okay, we can't hear you. It's almost like you're muted. I mean, you have no volume. If you go to, are you on a Mac or a PC? On my screen, if I take my cursor and I go along the bottom, I can see my microphone and I can see a chat button. If you can't get your microphone to work, type in the chat who you are, okay?
Is that better?
I can hear you at least, yeah.
Okay. I'm Michelle Clouch and I'm from Chanute, Kansas. I teach in Chanute at the elementary school. I'm a 4th grade resource teacher. I've been in education teaching for 12 years now, 3 years in special ed, and I'm going for my master's here at Fort State. This is my 3rd class here, and just started this year. So so far so good. Blackboard kind of got me in the beginning, but I think I've kind of figured it out now. So
good. It takes a little while to figure out Blackboard, and every instructor sets up their class shell just a little bit differently. So it takes a little bit of navigating to get used to that. Stacy, you want to tell us about you?
Yeah, my name is Stacy Knipe, and I teach basically K-6 special education, mainly reading. I'm our school Wilson person, and so I've got mostly reading students. at Wanamaker Elementary in Topeka, Kansas. This is my 14th year in education, my 4th year in special education. I have a master's degree in administration, but I got that when I was like 27 and way too young to know what I really wanted. And then my husband and I moved to Colorado, and that was very eye-opening for me. My last class, I had 31 second graders and a mobile, and half of a mobile, and 26 spoke a different language. And so when we moved back home, I was a little bit burnt out on the classroom, and I wasn't ready to take on an admin role yet. And so it kind of led me to here, where now this is my second to last class, where I will have a master's degree in special education, because I needed to do something outside of the classroom that allowed me to still use my degree and work while I did it. And so here I am, and I'm in the portfolio. I am not as far as anybody else. It sounds like I've got a lot of work to do to get caught up on that, but I'll get there.
Good. If you need help, holler.
Thanks.
Tony, you want to introduce yourself? Turn on your mic, okay?
Yeah, I did introduce myself, right?
Right.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, because I don't think, well, you did it already, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Never mind.
I love to hear myself talk, so.
Well, that's okay. You're in a different place than you were a while ago. A while ago, you were up in the top right-hand corner. Now you're on the bottom row. I don't know what happened. And I'm just going row by row. Sorry. I really was paying attention. How about we'll go to Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber Stroda. I've been teaching, oh gosh, I lose count, 15 years. And I taught for Salina for 12 years. I'm still with Salina, but I'm with a co-op. So I'm actually at Chapman now. I teach 4 through 5 special education, and that's my 3rd year doing this. I already have my master's degree, and I'm on my second to last class for my endorsement in special ed.
Good. And you're good with Blackboard then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This says S. Lunan, and I don't know your first name. You want to tell us your first name?
Oh, it's Samisha.
Samisha? Say it again.
Right. Samisha.
Okay. And where are you?
Well, I'm in South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you teach?
I teach ELA in, general ed. So I'm thinking about making the transition to special ed.
So is this your first special ed class?
Yes.
And is it your first class in the master's program?
Yes.
Okay. So is Blackboard new to you then?
I'm able to figure it out. I'm a quick learner. Yeah.
All right. Good. Well, I'm going to share my screen for just a minute as soon as I get Blackboard opened up, because I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, Hayes is in the process of adopting, they're reviewing and possibly adopting a different, they call them LMS, a learning management system, which is what Blackboard is. They're looking at, I don't remember the other two anyway. But if there's any assignment that you submitted on Blackboard that you might want to save for your portfolio, make sure you download and save it this semester, because I think if they're going to change, it changes in the fall. Okay, just as a forewarning. So about the time I get really good at Blackboard, they're going to switch. Anyway, okay. Let me get mine pulled up, and then I'm going to share my screen with you. And when I share my screen, I can't see your faces anymore. So if you have, don't consider it interrupting. Just speak up if you have a question or a comment, okay? Okay, so this is what Blackboard, our shell, looks like for this course. Okay, I want you to start here, and there's a brief introduction about me. And I think this still saves as we go through. And then at the bottom, there's this program success component. There's a little quiz to take, but it's talking about mostly about APA formatting, a little bit about family life, balancing with school and career and all of the expectations. You can retake that test as many times as you want to. It does not count in your final grade. This is just an information and practice thing. It is timed because you're going to have to take the praxis content test for special education when you get done with the program. And so the quizzes are timed in here. Anyway, this one you can take as many times as you want. So you just click on it and it'll take you right to the test. Okay? Okay, let me scroll back up. The other thing that you need to look at is the syllabus and the schedule. The syllabus has all of the rules and regulations for the policies and for the course, and then the schedule has all of your assignments on it and the due dates. And I have it, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I send out announcements sometimes pretty often because I'll send out something and I think, oh crap, I should have included something else, until I go back and make a new one. And so you get 2 or 3 sometimes. I will send out an announcement tomorrow that's got a link to the recording for the session tonight. And I'll also send out the attachment of the notes that I'm going to speak from for those people that weren't there, but I'll send it to everybody. There are the learning modules. There's only 3 that we're going to do. The first one's going to cover MTSS 90Ps. The next one is on literacy, and then the third one's on math and content learning. And then your assignments, when you go to the assignment tab, it's got all of the assignments on here. And like to do the IEP assignment, you click on the assignment, you get the information, and the submissions are at the bottom. Does that make sense? Everybody, somebody nod so I can say yay or nay. Okay, thank you. Okay, you do have to do some discussion boards, and just go to the discussion board and they're there, and you create a forum. And I'm in the teacher mode, so I can't create a forum that you can look at, but anyway. And then to look at your grades, it'll have all of the grades for the course, and then as I get things graded, and I try to stay caught up. If you send all of my assignments are due on Sunday night at midnight, because that gives you the weekend to finish them up. So, and I try to get them graded by Wednesday or Thursday. And sometimes things happen and I don't, but pretty good about staying on top of it. Course tools, that's just stuff that I don't need to show you tonight. Anyway, that's kind of what that looks like. So that's the way this course is set up. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, let me go back to my notes. Okay, so this was designed to be a 16-week course to run a full semester. And then they found out that people felt like they wanted to compress some of the courses so they could get more coursework taken at a quicker pace. So then it was compressed to be an 8-week course. Lucky for you, you didn't take it the first part of the semester, because the first part of the semester, the way the calendar fell, the way they started in January and spring break fell, it was a 7-week course. So it was really intense and really quick. So you guys get it over 9 weeks instead of 8. So it's a little bit slower pace, but not a whole lot. Some things I want you to think about while you're taking the class is that you're professional. And so I expect everything that you do to be done to the best of your ability. That's professional. I expect when you talk about other, like your students or other teachers or situations, that you use a professional tone when you do that. I expect that you maintain strict confidentiality about students. If you have a particular student that you want to ask me about, or you want to put something on the discussion board in a post and you want to use a student as an example, never ever use their real name. Just say my student or a student or John Doe, I don't care, but never use somebody's real name, because no matter how confidential you think or how restricted all of the stuff is that we're doing through Blackboard and everything, somebody can still hack it. So I don't want anybody's real name on there, just for confidentiality and professionalism. If you have any questions, concerns, comments that you want to ask a question about, email me. I answer emails every morning and every night for sure. If I don't answer you within 24 hours, you can assume I didn't get it, and so send it again. In your email, in the subject line, make sure that you write in there the number of the course, like SPED806 BB, so that I know which course you're if I need to go into the grade book or something and look, I know which course you're referencing. Okay, just makes it easier for me. If you have questions, I already said that part. Let's see. I have to follow all of the special ed policies of the advanced ed program. That includes plagiarism, which means you can't copy somebody else's work without giving them credit for it. And chain of command. Are you all familiar with what chain of command is? Have you even heard of it before? I see some yeses. I see some nos. Okay, for those that I see shaking their head, no. There's a rule in education that goes into play, especially in schools. If you have a gripe with your principal, you cannot go to the superintendent and talk to him about it unless you have already spoken to the principal and the issue was not resolved, and you tell him that you're going above him. And that policy is the same kind of policy they have in the special ed program here, the advanced ed program. If you have a gripe with me, you can't go to your advisor or the program coordinator or the department chair or the dean without following all the steps and talking to each person in order and telling them I'm not happy with what you've told me, and then you go to the next person. It's just, it's just part of the rules. It'll keep you out of hot water to learn that policy for your teaching jobs. You never go above somebody's head without at least trying to solve your problem with them first. And then late work. I know several of you are parents because I've seen children in the background and I've heard children on your microphones. You know that you have partners or spouses or whatever, roommates, whatever the situation is. I know that you're teaching full time. I know that you're taking classes. I know that you have family life activities and obligations outside of school or outside of coursework. I get that because I've been there and done that. If you need an extra day or an extra 2 or 3 days because the flu hits or whatever, I will give you extra time to work on an assignment. I have never counted an assignment late and taken off the 10% that the policy says I can, as long as you email me ahead of time that you need extra time and we agree on a date. I know maybe you've got 3 IEPs this week and oh my God, there's no way I can get this assignment done. It's okay. We can work it out. I will work with you. I expect that you let me know ahead of time and be professional about it and just say, I've got 3 IEPs. I can't get this done. Can I have, and tell me how many extra days you have. And almost always when people have done that, it's been on like Saturday or Sunday, the assignment's coming due. They don't have time to finish up because they're working on school stuff. And they say, can I have, and they'll usually ask for an extra day or 2 days, but I know what my schedule looks like and I know the next day that I'm going to grade. And so I tell you, wait and turn it in, it takes time to get it done right. And I'll give you maybe an extra day beyond what you've requested because I'm not going to grade until then. So I will work with you on that as long as you ask ahead of time. Last semester, I had a lady's mother emailed me and said, my daughter's having emergency surgery and she can't get her assignment done. It's like, oh my gosh. She said she was adamant that I email you tonight and let you know. And it was like, okay, there are situations where I would accept not knowing ahead of time. That would have been one of them. So anyway, that happens. Life happens and we just deal with it and have to make the best of it. Grading is determined by, according to policy, grading is determined by me. And there is a rubric for your assignments that you're going to do. The rubrics are either in the course shell or in the syllabus. So you have access to the rubric so you can see. When you're doing your assignments, look at that rubric before you start writing to make sure that you're hitting all of those areas. Have you looked at any of the rubrics yet, anybody? Okay, on the rubrics, there's 4 columns. There's does not meet expectations. Excuse me. There's, on the far end, there's exceeds expectations, meets expectations, partially confident, and you don't want to go with the other one is. You're looking always to hit at least that second column of meets expectations, which is the bottom of it is an 85%. according to graduate school, you have to have an overall 85% grade in order for this class to count towards your master's or towards any graduate credit. And because of that, I will let you redo any assignment to work up to that 85%. If you have above the 85%, you're stuck with what you got the first time around. And I understand that sometimes you get sidetracked and you think you're doing the assignment correctly, and then when it's turned in, you found out you weren't. I think you deserve a second chance, but I don't think it's fair to the people that did it right the first time that got the A for you to be able to redo it until you get to their A. Okay, just a second. My clock dings. Nobody wants to listen to my clock chime, and I don't want to try to talk over the top of it. I'm sorry. That's a part of doing Zoom sessions with me. I'm sorry. Anyway, so you can redo every assignment until you get up to the 85%. And typically, I will email you and say, this is below the 85%, and I will give you a date that it needs to be redone, and then we can talk. If we need to, I've set up private Zooms with people so that we can go through stuff so they can share what they're thinking with me on their screen. So I will work with you on that. Let's see, grades. Okay, so on this course, I'm going to share my screen again. In this course, there are 3 discussion boards that you have to do that are, I think I have these down below. Let me move. Okay, let me do this. Okay, in week 1, which is this week, that's your introduction week. So you're going to do an introduction, and it's on the discussion board, and it's the snowball activity, and the directions are there. And you're also going to do the program success components. I want those both done by Sunday night at midnight.
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're not interrupting. I want you to. Go ahead.
On that snowball activity discussion board, there was an old board that had, I don't even know, probably 30 posts on it.
I saw it, yeah. I deleted them today.
Yeah, they were ours.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
I thought they were from last semester. I deleted them today.
Yep, nope, those were all of our posts.
I had mine on there too.
I know quite a few of us did because I'm recognizing the names.
Let's see, and I looked at those and I thought, well, those aren't the people I had in class. But Dr. Moore taught this class last year also. I thought they were hers. So I deleted them all today. I am so sorry. Would you mind putting them back, please? It doesn't have to be to the detail that you had before. Just take 5 minutes and say, I already did this once, and give me a sentence about yourself, okay? The something special part.
Do you want us to go back all the way through the snowball activity, or just say, hey, this is me?
Hey, this is me. I just want something that says you deleted me. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry. I looked at that today and I thought, oh my gosh, I was going through making sure everything was ready for the class, and I thought, oh good grief, this is on here from before, so I deleted. So just say, this is me, you deleted me, something like that, and then put something special, just that one sentence about something unique. Okay? Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry. Good grief, that's horrible. That's a good way to start out the class, being deleted. Okay, so then on week 2 and 3, and we have another webinar next week, and I'm going to go through a lot more stuff. But so in week 2 and 3, we're going to talk about MTSS. And for those of you that are not in Kansas, MTSS in Kansas stands for Multi-Tiered System of Support. It's what other states call your response to intervention system. Kansas has to be unique, and we have unique names for our things. Anyway, it's the same system, it's just with Kansas name. And so you're going to do an instructional practice and an IEP process quiz. And I'm going to give you a little bit of kind of a study guide topics for those. Those quizzes are timed, and they're timed at 90 minutes, and the questions are just like the praxis questions that you have to, the praxis test that you have to take. So that's why it's there. It's just kind of help get you prepped for the praxis a little bit. if you don't get 26 out of the 30, you need to retake it. And so you have to send me an email and ask for permission to have a reset. And so then the highest grade on a reset or retest would be 26 out of 30. They're very, very detailed questions. So make sure that you go through and read carefully the instructional practice and the IEP processes before you take those. And then we're going to start working on the IEP. And so the first part of the IEP that we're going to do is the student information section and the, present levels of academic achievement and functional performance. And I hate to do changes on you midway through. This IEP that we're using that's on here is the first, not the first one, but it's like a 2013, I think, from the State Department. It was their sample, and it's old. And several court cases and legislative things have transpired since then, and so not all of it is as accurate as it should be. I'm trying to get a new template, and I've asked for it, and I thought I was going to get it last week, but I didn't. So the IEP, we may do some changes partway through on it. And I'll work with you and give you samples so that you're comfortable with it. I'm not just going to throw you to the wolves and say sink or swim. So if I can do the changes, I think it would be better for you guys to see the new IEP that's based on web kits that most of the schools in Kansas use than it is to learn an old outdated system. So, but I have to have access. I've got permission. I just don't have access yet. So then in weeks 4 to 6, we're going to work on literacy, and you're going to do another quiz. And then you have another discussion board that week. And then you're going to do more on your IEP. You're going to send in your goals, the accommodations, modifications, and then the services that are related to literacy and math. And then in the 7th week, you'll do another quiz that's on math, another discussion board, an instructional plan draft, which is a major part of an assignment. And then the last week is your final IEP draft. And then the 9th week is that last week of May, or the last week of classes in May, which is the instructional plan. So let me scroll up just a little bit.
I have a question about the quizzes.
Uh-huh.
Are those quizzes based on chapter books? I mean, the chapter of our book, or every reading?
All of the readings. The information comes from all of the readings. Yes. Okay, yeah.
Sure. And another question was about the webinars. I saw that we could take a webinar on that website that you share with us. So is this webinar a Zoom meeting that we need to attend to, or?
Yeah, it's just the Zoom meetings. They call them webinars.
Okay.
It's just the Zoom meetings that what I do is we have the meetings live, then I record them, and then I'll send them out. I'll send out a link to the recording. So if you have to miss, you have access to the information still. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so you have 5 quizzes that are 90 minutes. There's 30 multiple choice questions. And they're written like good quality multiple choice questions with, if you don't know it, there's an answer that you'll pick every time. If you sort of know it, there's 2 that you're going to struggle between, and then there's 1 that's just way out there. So they're written in good form. Most of them come out of, let me show you the book. Oh, you can't see me, can you? Because I'm sharing my screen. Most of them come out of this book, the book for the course. In the back of this book, this is one, sometimes I say, I don't know if you'd ever use this book again, but this one you would. If you go back to page 561, there is a subject index, and it has got all of the strategies listed in alphabetical order in it, and it's broken down by subject area and also by name of the strategy. It is amazing. This is one of the best resources I've ever seen as far as instructional strategies. So you want to use this book and keep it. Okay. Okay, let me go back to my notes real quick here. Let me share my screen again. Okay. The IEP, you're going to turn it in several times before we do a final grade on it. And every time you turn it in, it's worth 1 point. So like you're going to get a point for when you turn in the present levels of academic achievement and the student background information on the IEP. Then you're going to get another point for turning in the goals and stuff. And so you turn it in, but every time you turn it into me, I'm going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm going to make corrections on it so that by the time you turn it in at the end, there's almost no way that you cannot have almost a perfect IEP. All right, so I'm going to show you how I do grading. Okay, I go to the review mode. Maybe I can do this. And I go to tracking. And then I just write in your paper. So when you get your paper back, it's going to come back and it's going to have red marks on it, or I'll make a comment and it'll show up on the side. But it'll say, this is really good, keep this, or you might need to change whatever, so that you can see exactly where I'm talking about what I want you to change. So then to accept that change, just click, oops, excuse me, accept that change and move to the next. If I can get it to work. And tonight I cannot get it to work. But when you turn your paper back into me again, I don't want all that red mark on there. So you go into tracking and make sure that it's not gray anymore. Okay, so you turn it off. Yeah, it's not gray. Because now I should be able to type. Nope, or maybe not. Some days, you know, when you're trying to do something, it does never work like you want it to. I can't get it to turn off right now. Anyway, you can just take it out of the tracking mode. Sorry. There it goes. Now it's out. So you can just, but make sure that when you turn it back into me, you don't, because see now I can type and I think it should be, yeah, normal. So you're going to go to tracking. I'm going to go to tracking and turn it on. You're going to go to tracking and turn it off. And you have to keep clicking it until it goes off gray. And sometimes it takes it a little bit to fiddle with it. All right. So you're going to have to turn off your tracking. Or if you don't want to do it that way, you're going to have a copy of your paper that you submitted. Just compare the two side by side, and then you can make the changes that you need to make. That's another way to do it, pretty easy too. But anyway, make sure that you don't submit with the tracking changes on. Okay, so the IEP that you turn in is worth 400 points. It's a big part of your grade. The instructional plan you turn in is worth 300 points. Those are the two big assignments. Then you have 150 points worth of quizzes, and you have 150 points worth of discussion boards. And I put the discussion board rubric somewhere in here. I have so many notes on here from different things. Okay, here's the discussion board. I didn't put the rubrics, but I put the instructions right here. When you write your discussion boards, I expect them to be 300 to 500 words for your response to the prompt, except for the ones where I deleted this time. Okay, so on the others you'll do longer, and I want you to provide citations and references to the materials that you read. So if you are, if somebody asks something, if the prompt is something about a language, question on language, you would say, according to Mercer, and Pullman, so that you're referencing the course material in there. Or if you use something out of one of the IRIS sessions, I am not going to grade you on your citation being in APA format, but I want you to practice it, because you have got to take, if you haven't had already, you've got to take research methods, and you've got to be really good on APA. And your paper, your literacy plan or your instructional plan is graded on APA. So practicing it here will help for later on. And I'm not, as I said, I'm not going to grade you on APA. but I want you to practice it there. And then when you respond to your peers, you should have 75 to 100 words, which is about a paragraph. Okay? Any questions about that so far? Okay, so you know what you need to do for next week, right? And the week after is, I don't know. I hate to keep you too long tonight. The week after is quiz 1 and 2 and the first part of the IEP. And I'm going to try and get the IEP formed before we get started on it. But some things are not in my control. They just don't snap to it as quickly as I wish they would. I can show you the WebKit. Go ahead, Margot.
Just two quick questions. For the first assignment in regards to the program success component, I read through that over spring break, and I saw there was like some quizzes you could take. Do we need to take like a screenshot of our quiz and post it like with our discussion, or is there any place to post it at?
When you take that quiz, it automatically shows up in my grade book.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, everything I have a grade book and let me show you. Everything that you do automatically shows up in the grade book. This isn't part of what you guys have, but this is what I have. I have everybody's name. See, I already have some program success stuff on there that people have already taken. Anyway, everybody's name's on there and all the assignments are there. And these dots, like this exclamation point, means that somebody's taken that and needs to be graded. So all I have to do is go in and look at it and it'll automatically score them for me. Okay? Okay. Yeah.
And then my last question, and I was curious if anyone else is having this problem. Sometimes when on Blackboard, sometimes when I click on this specific class, I can see all of our assignments. And then the next time I go to click on and log into Blackboard, I can't see any of the assignments. I don't have that problem with any of my other classes I'm in, so I don't know if it was just me or what's going on exactly.
Okay, what do you mean by you can see all your assignments?
So I was looking through the course material last week and I was able to access the modules and look at the directions and the rubrics and all of that. But like tonight, when I'm looking through when I click on this class, I can't see any of that information. And I was just curious if anyone else is having that problem.
Okay, have you taken the program success quiz?
I can't even get to that at this point.
Okay, call Tiger Tech. Is anybody? Okay. Well, but just because maybe it's the way it's set up. Is anybody else having trouble? Anybody open up the class tonight? Can you, Taylor? You can open up and see the class. Yeah, Margot, call Tiger Tech. It may be something glitchy.
I was able to earlier today.
Okay, good. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, and have you ever used Tiger Tech before? Margot, have you ever?
I haven't really had any. Yeah, I know how to get to it.
Okay. The people that work at Tiger Tech, some of the things that I've had trouble with and I've called them about, they never made me feel stupid, like an idiot, but they went, all I have to do is click this button. It was like, oh, well, gee. But they never make you feel stupid. They are really, really nice people, okay? So they'll help you. And if you still can't get to it after you call Tiger Tech, let me know. And I think they work into the evening. I think they have long, so you might call this tonight even. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, well, and if you can't get to it, and I'm worried about, if you can't get to it by Sunday and something's still going on, maybe we drop you from the class and re-add you and see if that works. I'm just trying to,
like I said, some days I can look at it and some days like tonight I can't. So it's kind of bizarre, but I'll figure it out.
Okay, if you have trouble, let me know. Okay? Okay, any questions for the good of the order that I can answer before we go tonight? Writing IEPs was not one of my favorite jobs as far as teaching special ed. I always felt like I was spending so much time on paperwork that I wasn't working with kids, and I ended up doing a lot of those at night, and then it takes away from your family time. You have to find a balance. That's a really important thing to do. You got to balance all of the responsibilities that you have, because and you've got to take care of yourselves, because if you don't take care of yourselves and you get down and out, then you're no good to anybody. So take care of yourself first. All right. So we have another one of these next Monday, and I'll send out the Zoom link and a reminder again, and I'll send out the video link after. It takes quite a while to transcribe or whatever it has to do. It has to go through several different stages to get it into video format recorded. But anyway, if you have questions, if you think of something that I didn't answer that you want to know, email me and let me know. Okay? So I'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
You too.